Welcome to My Empower Project with your host, Erin. We will discuss nutrition, fitness, becoming your own boss, and just becoming better every day. I invite you to join My Empower Project as we embark, embrace, encompass, and enlighten.
In this episode, I'm just gonna shoot from the hip. And I'm saying that as someone who dislikes cliches. They say, oh, tell your story. Let people know the real you, the authentic you. So where do I begin? If I go to my childhood, I can start with, I'm an only child, and I don't even have to continue. I am immediately judged. People have said so many times to my face, oh, you must be spoiled. How do you respond to that? That's like saying, oh, you have a sibling? You must have had nothing because your parents had to split all the money amongst both of you. No one would say that. That's just a silly example, but the reason I'm saying this is because there's no need to set yourself up for failure. And this comes in the form of labels. I'm a vegan, I'm on a diet, I'm not on a diet. There's a fine line here. A diet program, a business venture. It's a scenario. You are not a label. Oh, I thought you were a vegetarian. You're eating that? I thought you were dairy free. There's feta on your salad. I thought you didn't drink, but you can have dessert. Everyone likes to observe, and no one knows someone else's reason or story. Any label that you even put on yourself doesn't need to be forever. You don't need to be 100% of anything. No wonder there is so much stress caused when we try something new. I don't know if it's more stress from ourselves or the stress that others place on us, and we begin to hear it from those closest to us the most. By giving ourselves a label, we're almost convincing ourselves that we're frauds before we begin. There's no reason to label anything. And it's so funny, it brings me back to early dating days when the stereotype is, oh, what's your label? Did you have the talk yet? Putting a label puts pressure. And there's a way to set a goal in mind or a commitment without labeling. Some things do need dates, and small steps need to be done before a big end goal or a launch day or release day or a competition day or a game day. As I spoke about in an episode called Words We Speak, I'm a little hesitant to put this one out there, but if you do listen, search for the Words We Speak and definitely leave a comment. I really would like to see what you thought about that episode. I do value each and every one of your opinions. I want to bring you things that make you think. But if I'm going a little too deep and a little too off track and you want more relatable, proactive tips, then also leave that in the comment below for me. The words we speak, the small things that we put into our own minds end up being the big things. So before you put yourself down, think about the label. Oh, I look fat today. I am a failure because I failed a class. There's one thing I want you to remember. Most labels define actions that you're doing, and remember, we're here for progress, not perfection. And they don't define you, just your actions, which means there's room for improvement. I might be a little bit hypocritical here. I don't like when I hear, and I try myself to not say, I'm going to try this. I remember a few years ago, I said, I'm going to try Beachbody coaching. If you say try, you already are telling yourself it's okay to not do it. You are doubting yourself. You are lowering the belief that you have that it's possible. And if you want it to happen, then it can happen. It might take a couple of restarts and redirecting, but the best thing is to make the decision, to know you're going to screw up. You might fail horribly. Know that at least you went ahead and took the first step. at least you learned something from the screw up, and you can then reevaluate what you're going to do better, because reevaluation is something I'm going to talk deeply about in another episode, and I really want to dig deep into the value in that. For now, just don't let the label get the best of you. Sometimes it's good to tell people what you're doing for accountability, but a lot of times it's really best to keep it to yourself. I can't think of that quote right now. I'm sure it's in your mind if you're an entrepreneur and you've read it 1,000 times. I think it's like the 3 things to never tell other people. Definitely leave it in the comments what I'm trying to think of right now. Tell yourself, this is what I'm doing. And if someone asks what you're up to, just say, oh, working on some fun stuff, or something exciting, or a little of this, a little of that. You don't really have to divulge, and that's something that I have to learn. I kind of like word vomit just to fill in the blank, because people like to ask you what you've been up to, and then once you tell them, they ask you again, like, dude, leave me alone. But they're just trying to be friendly. It's just small talk. But when you have passion and you're excited about something, you kind of want to tell the world. So that's a choice you have to make depending on your personality, no matter what. You don't have to think of it as a label, like, oh my God, I'm going gluten-free. If I eat gluten, I'm a failure. If I eat gluten, that's it. I'm just going to keep eating it for the whole weekend. That was 1 minute of your entire 48-hour weekend. Saturday night's dinner is 1 meal. There's no reason to throw away every other hour in the day when you can't succeed. So even if you want to label something for a level of measurement in your mind, don't take the label so literally. Labels are thrown around so often, they're so widely overlooked, but if you think about it, labeling yourself and definitely sharing it with other people is only gonna cause a downward spiral. Like if you say, I'm a gymnast, they're gonna judge you for how much time you spend. If you are on Weight Watchers, that's not you. That's like a protocol that you follow. If somebody says they are keto diet, then people are judged. Oh, that's bad for you. That is just a protocol you're trying. You might be trying it for a small period of time. You might have done it for 20 years straight. But again, that's just one of your routines that keeps you feeling a certain way, keeps you on track a certain way. The same with like, oh, I'm a power lifter, I'm a baseballer, I'm a band geek. Just think back to high school days, how labels destroyed or created your reputation, and how much emphasis is put on the smallest hobby that you have or new thing that you're trying out. Again, I shouldn't say the word try after what I said earlier, but it really is not forever. Labels are not forever, and take it with a grain of salt. Leave that comment below, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for listening. I'm so happy to have you as part of our posse, and would love for you to comment with what topics you'd like to hear about next. You can find out more at myempowerproject.com. Tap that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the exciting guests and enlightenment to come. Have a fabulous day.